Yes.
And we're going to look at situations involving decisions about ruffing and also promoting tricks for the defense. So let's have a look at this hand here, and we're looking at it from West's point of view. South has ended up in a 4-spade contract. You went 1 spade, 2 clubs. Your partner overcalled 2 hearts, then 2 spades, 3 spades, 4 spades. And I hope everyone on this hand is going to lead their partner suit, and everyone is going to lead the Jack of Hearts. So you lead top of a doubleton, and down comes dummy, and your partner overtakes that one with the queen, leads back the ace of hearts, and everyone follows to that. And then they play another heart. And this gives you an opportunity to make another trick here, because if declarer ruffs, for example, with the 9, you will be able to overruff with the Jack, and you're still going to make the ace of spades, of course. So you will defeat the contract here. There's no rush to play your ace of spades. You might play another suit, but at some point they will play a spade. You will take your ace, and declarer will be defeated. After they've drawn trumps, they might claim the rest, and they'll go down 1 trick there. So if we look at the 4 hands, we can see that you were able to get a ruff there, which in addition to the 2 hearts defeated the contract. Now let's have a look at this played a slightly different way. You start off, this is exactly the same hand, and you start off with a heart. Partner plays a heart back, and at trick 3 they play the king of hearts, but this time declarer ruffs with the queen. And I've got the first poll of the afternoon for you, which is, what are you going to play? Are you going to overruff, or are you going to discard something? So let me launch that poll. And the question is, what should West play? And let me share the results with you. And 17% said the ace of spades, and the rest of you discarded something. And those of you who chose to discard something are right. I don't think it matters too much what you discard, whether you discard a club or a diamond, but it is a mistake to overruff here. If we bring up the 4 hands at this point, and also I can click here on the GIB link, and it will show me that if I play a spade, well, obviously you would never throw away the Jack of spades, but if you play the ace of spades here, now you're only going to make 1 trick in trumps, and declarer will make the contract. Because the queen was played, this is a situation where you should not overruff. You what you do is you discard something. I don't mind whether you discard a club or a diamond there, really. And now you will make 2 spade tricks, because you've got the ace Jack left, the queen has gone, and so you will make 2 tricks. What declarer will probably do in this situation is cross over to dummy and try a spade, try leading a low spade towards their hand. But whatever they play here, you will make 2 tricks. If they play the king, you'll beat it with the ace, of course, and now your Jack is going to be the setting trick. Okay, after this, declarer will claim the rest, but should be defeated. So those of you who decided to overruff there, do have a look at that. There are some situations where it's better not to overruff, and that is one of them. Do interrupt me if you have any questions on that. Let's have a look at this one here. Again, it's a similar bidding, and they've ended up in 4 spades, and again you lead your partner's suit, the Jack, and again your partner overtakes this, leads a heart back, and plays another heart. And this time declare a ruffs high with the queen of spades, and you've got to decide whether to overruff or not. And if I bring up the four hands in this case, I hope you can see that the right thing to do is not to ruff at all, not to overruff. If I overruff with the king, that's a trick, but now declarer will be able to draw the remaining trumps with the ace and jack. So if I discard something, again, I don't mind if it's a diamond or a club, if I discard something, now declarer wins that trick, but because I've got the king and the 10, I should make two trump tricks here, whereas if I'd overruffed, it would only be one trick. So again, declarer will probably go to dummy and lead a spade, trying a finesse. If they play the jack here, I hope you can see you need to take your king here, and now you will make a second trick with the 10. Of course, you mustn't lead a spade at this point. You would lead something else and let declarer play the spades, and now whatever they play, your 10 will make a trick there. Whatever, if they played low, you'd beat it with a 10. So eventually you will again make 4 tricks there. So do look out for that kind of pattern. Sometimes it's right to overruff, but in a situation like this, where you've got maybe a second honor there, second high card, it can help not to overruff. Do interrupt me if you've got some questions on that. Let's have a look at another one. And here's one where it's gone one spade, you overcall 2 diamonds, and they've ended up in spades here. And let's have a look at this. I hope you would start off, everyone, by leading the ace of diamonds. And when you do, your partner plays the 8 and declarer plays the 7. Now, that 8 probably looks like a highish card. And if you think it is, you might carry on with the king. Here your partner plays the 6 and declarer plays the queen. So let's take stock of where we are at the moment. We've drawn 2 rounds of diamonds. That's 8 diamonds gone. And we've got 4 and there's 1 in dummy. So we can see the east and south are out of diamonds. And you may think, well, there's not much point playing another diamond, because if east ruffs, south will be able to overruff, presumably. But you have a holding here in spades where you may gain a trick if you can get declarer to ruff high. Normally, you wouldn't expect to make a trick with the queen and 4. They would fall under the ace and king if declarer has those cards, which you think is pretty likely. But if your partner ruffs a diamond high enough that it will force out a high trump from declarer, it may promote a trick for your queen of spades. So what we're hoping for, if I bring up the 4 hands, is some kind of layout like this, where a 3rd diamond for you will force out a high trump from the south hand, and you may make a trick with the queen. So in this situation, I'm going to lead a diamond, and I want my partner to ruff, and I want my partner to ruff high if they can, if they have a high trump. So I'm going to, rather than lead the jack, which my partner might think I don't want him to ruff, I'm going to lead a lower card like the 9, and I hope he gets the message. And your partner in this situation should realize that they should ruff high. Don't ruff low, because declarer will be able to overruff that. But if you ruff high, now declarer has a problem, because if they want to win this trick, they're going to have to ruff high, and with a layout like this, that may promote your queen. So what declarer might do here, having ruffed high there, is maybe cross to dummy and maybe try the spade finesse, leading the jack, but here it loses to the queen. If they just played the ace of spades, that would have lost the trick as well. So so now you've made 3 tricks there, and I think I'll probably just try to cash the ace of hearts to defeat the contract. After that, whatever you play, declarer will get in, will draw the remaining trumps, and will make the rest of the tricks. You can see they've got spades and good hearts there. So you're able to defeat the contract, if we rewind the hand, with a holding like that, where queen 4 is not a natural trick. In fact, in the normal course of things, you would not make any trump tricks here. But if you can get your partner to ruff with something higher than, well, here it would have to be higher than the 7 to force out the ace or king, you can get a promoter trick for your side. And there are a number of holdings.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Can I ask you something about that? If you're trying to encourage them to be sure to trump that third one, that third diamond, wouldn't you be better doing the 5? Because that's that, and then they're more likely to think that there's a high one in the south.
Yes.
If you put 10 on, it's really, you know.
But I think I led the 9 there.
Yeah.
So the only reason for I mean, if so, it turns out that as the cards have gone, but all of my cards are high, even the 5.
Yeah.
But if I wasn't necessarily, you know, in other situations, there might be some advantage in playing a card that you know is going to win unless it gets ruffed. But your partner doesn't know it's going to win. So I mean that, well, they may think it might, but yeah, you lead a card there. I mean, any card would do. I wouldn't lead the jack though, because your partner might think, oh, that's the highest one out, and you wouldn't necessarily want your partners to ruff it. But yeah, in this case, anyone would do. Maybe the 5, you're right, would be the best card because it happens to be high, and your partner will be more likely to ruff it. Okay. So those holdings like Queen Doubleton, or Jack and 2 others, or even 10 and 3 others, these are all holdings where these are not, you don't have a natural trick here. If declarer's got all the high trump, these will all fall under the ace king or the ace king queen. But if you have a holding like this and you can get your partner to ruff high enough to force out an honor, it may promote a trick for your side. Okay, it may promote one of these cards. So these are the holdings to look out for, where you should think about trying to get your partner to ruff, and it may help you make a trick by your side. Let's have a look at another one. Here we've got a holding of Jack 9-2 in spades. So we start off with our very nice diamond suit, and my partner plays the 8, and declarer plays the 7. Again, that looks like it might be encouraging. So let's play another card. They play the 6 and the 9. Okay. So again, we need to take stock of where we are. 8 diamonds have gone. Everyone followed. So there are no more diamonds in the south and the east hands. So I'm going to, because I have one of these holdings in spades where I may gain a trick, I'm going to lead a diamond and hope that my partner ruffs. And again, the right diamond here is not to play the queen, because if you play the queen, your partner may not ruff it. So play a low card. They're all equivalent. And what you're hoping for is some kind of layout like this. If we bring up the 4 hands, where your partner has a trump and can ruff high enough that it will force out a high trump. So if declarer again wants to win that, they will have to overruff with the king. And now, because you've got the Jack 9-2 and the 10 has gone, you should be able to make a trick there. So if you play low, actually the right card to play there is to play the Jack or the 9 there, because otherwise declarer could, if they were guessed, win that with the 8. So as it was, they play the queen, and because the trumps divide 3-1 there, you'll make a trick now with your Jack. Declarer will probably play some other suits, but at some point you'll get in And again, you'll make 4 tricks there to defeat the contract. So that was a similar one. This time you had Jack and 2 other cards. And I hope you can see that unless you get that ruff, unless the ruff from the 10 of hearts forces that high card, you won't make a spade trick here. Declarer will, on any other defense, will draw trumps in 3 rounds, and you won't make any trumps there. Let's have a look at another one. This time, similarly, you start off with the ace of diamonds, and your partner plays the 8, and this time Declarer plays the queen. And I've got a poll question for you, which is, do you think that queen of diamonds is a singleton? So the answer is going to be yes, it's a singleton, no, it's not, or you can't tell. So here's the second and actually the final poll of the afternoon. Is that queen of diamonds a singleton? Okay, let me share the results with you. And most of you have said yes. A lot of you said can't tell, and only 12% said no. So let's have a look at this one. So that's very interesting for me. And let's have a little think about it. Well, there are 2 pieces of information on this. One is that Declarer played the queen of diamonds, and the other is that your partner played the 8 of diamonds. Now, the way to work this out is to look at your partner's 8 of diamonds and try and figure out whether that was encouraging or discouraging. And what you have to do is think about whether there are any diamonds lower than the 8 that are still unaccounted for. And I think we can see that there are some. There is the 7 of diamonds, and there's the 6 of diamonds. So those 2 cards are somewhere, east or south has them. And those are the only 2 unaccounted cards. Now, if that queen of diamonds is a singleton, it means that your partner started out with the 8, the 7, and the 6. And they should not be encouraging in that situation. The only time the 8 should either be a doubleton, so they've got the 8 and the 7 or the 8 and the 6, or it could be a singleton 8. That would leave Declarer with the queen, the 7 and the 6. But your partner should not play the 8 if they started with 3 cards. The only time East would encourage in this situation when the lead of the ace might be if they had the queen or if they have a doubleton. So you should rule out the possibility that your partner had the 8, 7 and 6, and that means that the queen of diamonds is not a singleton. So well done to the 3 people who said it is not a singleton, because you should trust your partner's signal, the 8 of diamonds here, over what Declarer's playing. Declarer is false carding here to put you off, to make you think, yes, that was a singleton, and there's no point continuing with diamonds. So yes, the right answer is it's not a singleton, and you should be able to work that out if you trust your partner's signals. So you carry on with a diamond. Okay, and then you see everyone followed, so you saw your partner Declarer was indeed false carding. Now let's suppose you play another diamond, and let's have a look at this from Declarer's point of view. Now let's switch to Declarer's viewpoint. So East here ruffs with a 9, and you can see that if you want to win this trick, you'll have to ruff with the ace or the king. However, if you do that, you may well allow the defense to make another trick with the queen, because if you play your ace and king, that may promote the queen. But here you have an alternative. What should you do here as south instead of ruffing with the ace or king? Anyone like to unmute themselves and tell me?
Discard the heart.
Yeah, you discard the heart. So in other words, there are always like options in when you come to ruffing. Sometimes instead of ruffing low or ruffing high, you can discard a loser. And that's what you should do on this hand. So instead of ruffing at all, get rid of a loser. And now you've kept, that was always going to lose one trick anyway. And now whatever happens, if they play a heart now, you can ruff. You can now draw the opponent's trumps in 2 rounds, and the rest of your hand is good. You've got good clubs and good spades. So this way you will make 10 tricks here. Okay, so let's have a look at this again from the defense's point of view. Was there anything they could have done differently? They led the ace of diamonds. This is the same hand. They carried on with the king, and they're about now to lead a diamond for their partner to ruff. But in that situation, before you do that, it's often a good idea to cash any winners you have in any side suits. And that's certainly the case here, because if you cash your ace of hearts here, now when you play a diamond, now declarer has nothing to discard, no losers to discard. They could discard a club, but that doesn't really save them anything. So they will probably overruff here and then try to finesse in spades. East here discard, so they know the finesse isn't going to work, and they'll lose another spade trick there. Okay, so that was an example there of giving your partner a ruff, but cashing any winners in a side suit before you do that, so that declarer can't discard any losers.
Tony?
Yes.
I'm not quite clear on what was the benefit to declarer of discarding the queen. What would have happened if they'd have played the 7 of diamonds instead?
Okay, so why did they throw away the queen of diamonds? You're saying, right? I mean, they threw away the queen of diamonds to make you think that that queen of diamonds was a singleton. And if it was a singleton, then West might think, oh, there's no point carrying on in diamonds because declarer is going to ruff, and they might switch to another suit. Okay. So does that make sense? So they've thrown the queen of diamonds because it was a useless card. It's never going to make a trick, and they've just thrown it away to false card to confuse you. Does that answer your question? Yeah.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So it's not a bad strategy, and it will work sometimes. You know, I mean, from declarer's point of view, let's go back right to the beginning. From declarer's point of view, declarer can see that there is danger here in the diamond suit, that if they're able to play 2 rounds and then get a ruff, that may lead to you being defeated. So they played the diamond there, played the queen of diamonds just to throw you off and make you think that that was a singleton. So just one other situation to think about. Up till now, we've looked at situations where, from declarer's point of view, you have a choice to ruff after the opponents have ruffed. There are hands where you need to think about whether where you're in danger of being ruffed, but you have to decide to ruff first. So here's a situation where you open a heart, it goes 1 spade, 2 diamonds, you bid 3 hearts here, and your partner goes to 4 hearts. They lead the ace of diamonds here, and that wins the trick. They play another diamond over to East, and you should realize that you are in danger here if a 3rd diamond is played of being overruffed. So we have when they lead the king of diamonds here, it's quite possible that West started with only 2 diamonds, and if you decide to ruff low here with the 7, 5, 4, or 3 of hearts, there's a distinct danger that will get overruffed. Or if you ruff high with the ace or king, that may promote a trick for the defense. You then have only 2 high trumps to draw the opponent's trumps with. But here, once you realize there's a danger of being overruffed, the alternative to ruffing low or ruffing high is to discard a loser. And here you have a suitable loser. The loser is the 9 of spades. So instead of ruffing at all, we'll discard a loser there. Okay. And you can see that if you had ruffed with a low heart, it would have been overruffed. Or if you'd ruffed high, West would discard and now make another heart trick there. But the winning thing to do here is to discard, and then you will just lose that 1 spade, which you're always going to lose. If the defense carries on with another diamond, now you really don't have anything to discard. You don't have any losers to discard, but you can ruff in either hand now. So you might decide to ruff low in your hand, but if it gets overruffed, then you would overruff with your queen. And now you're going to make your contract, because the hearts will fall now in 2 rounds. And after this, you've just got, once the trumps are all gone, you've got, I think you can see 3 clubs, 3 hearts, and the ace of spades. So you'll, again, just make 4 hearts on this one. Okay. So that was all I wanted to talk about: situations involving ruffing, overruffing, looking for trump promotion plays, the holdings where you may gain a trick if you can get your partner to ruff high enough at these ones typically. And then there are the other situations where you need to decide whether it's right to overruff, and it's not always the right thing to do. Anyone have any comments or questions on that?